Welcome to the Leytonstone Loves Film 2021 podcast series. My name is Stuart Wright, and regular listeners will know I've been the host of Britflicks podcast since 2013. For new listeners who came here for the Leytonstone Loves Film 2021 content, I've been a resident of Leighton for over 20 years, and I'm proud to be part of a film festival happening right on my doorstep in East London, UK. Leytonstone Loves Film 2021 is a free 4-day film festival and really has something for everyone of all ages who can make it to the birthplace of one of cinema's greats, Alfred Hitchcock. It runs from Wednesday 15th September to Sunday 19th September in outdoor and indoor venues along the Leytonstone High Road and across town. There'll be open-air film screenings in Langthorne Park and indoor events in Leytonstone Library, St John's Church, Phillybrook, Heathcote and Star, Nexus Centre, online and more. As well as films, there'll be talks, installations, trails and workshops. The Leytonstone Loves Film 2021 podcast series will be 10 podcasts in total. 9 are released on Friday 3rd of September. Each of those podcasts feature 3 or 4 preview interviews with the filmmakers and or film organisations taking part in the 4-day event. A 10th podcast will be released late September and will look back on highlights from Leytonstone Loves Film 2021. The show notes include the names of the guests and organisations featured in this episode, links to the main Leytonstone Loves Film 2021 website, as well as links to specific parts of the programme that feature in this episode. That includes the what, the where and the when. It just needs me to say, on with the interviews and enjoy this episode of the Leytonstone Loves Film 2021 podcast series. Who are you and who or what do you represent?
Well, good morning. Thank you for having us. My name's Katie DALE-EVERETT and I'm one half of KABECCA Films.
And I'm Rebecca DALE-EVERETT. So we're actually twin sisters working together under our umbrella name, KABECCA.
So my background is in choreography. I did a choreography degree at Falmouth University graduated in 2014, so a few years ago now. And it's a really interdisciplinary course, and I did a dance and screen module. And I just fell in love with thinking about how dance can kind of exist in different forms, whether that's live or in a kind of more documented set way, and how that made audiences engage with work in very different ways and come together in different ways. And Rebecca's background, she did a film degree at UCA Farnham. But actually she started dancing before me. So we've sort of grown up in a very kind of arts-loving family, and we're fortunate enough to do lessons in dance when we were younger. And we just thought, why not combine, we both have a passion for film, but from very different kind of angles, I guess, and with different learning or education into it. But we felt that we might as well try and make something happen together. And we actually got a Random Acts commission when we just graduated, which was amazing, as it helped us to kind of create our first short film together, but in a very supported way.
What's Random Acts?
It's a Channel 4 programme of short films. I think they've still got the website live, and there were some TV programmes, but we got it through Screen South, which are an amazing kind of support organisation for particularly with young emerging talent in moving into interactive work as well as and audio work more recently. But we got it through them. So it was a scheme for 16 to 25-year-olds, I think, at the time. So we created our first film then, and it did get acquired by Channel 4 for the Random Acts, and we thought there's something here with our kind of relationship. And then from there, we thought that film was about kind of some of the work that I was doing independently and our interest in kind of the digital. But we thought, what's really important to us? And as we're a female-led team, we're all going to get older, similar to kind of Neela, who's also part of Leytonstone Loves Film. We thought it's really important to look at what being older means, how it's represented, and kind of, I suppose, to get people to understand that it's something we can't all escape. And we don't. We're actually 29, so we're on, I guess, mid again to the 30th of December. So, but it's kind of interesting to have these relationships with older women and to learn from them, and to both as individuals and artists to kind of see what the perspective of a older woman is. And so now we're developing a mini-series about older women's perspectives, in particular relation to dance.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of, where our body of work sits at the moment.
You might be surprised to learn you're my second in the space of a fortnight University of Falmouth person I've spoken to.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I did a podcast about the film Wilderness, which was a film done sort of in partnership with Falmouth University, where the students in the TV and film department, or whichever it is, were working to all the heads of department on a feature film made around, I guess, where the university is.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah, a writer called Neil Fox is I think he's a professor there.
Oh, I'll look it up. That sounds great. I really recommend the uni. It's really I think it's so important to leave with the ability to connect with different kind of disciplines and be able to have those kind of cross-sector conversations. And I think it really helps to instigate that from learning. So that's great. I'll check that out.
What does Leytonstone Loves Film mean to you?
For me, I've lived in Waltham Forest, specifically in Walthamstow, for the last 3 years. And I've always felt like it's a borough that appreciates the arts and community. So it's a lovely place to live. But being part of Leytonstone Loves Film has been amazing for me to connect with other artists in the area, that do a whole kind of range of film projects and art projects. Again, it's really important for us to connect with people of all different backgrounds and ages. And I think this does support people from all walks of life. So it's great to be part of that. It's great to be part of a project that gets us talking to people in the community as well, and getting them involved in art and providing opportunities for them as well. And I guess connecting with venues is also a really important thing to do, which helps us as our career and also for the community to share stories.
For me, it's a new opportunity for us because we do outreach, so we lead dance workshops and things surrounding the films. But it will be the first, I think so. I think I'm right in saying this. The first festival that we're part of that goes beyond just screening films or doing like a small bit of activity attached to it. It feels much more open and kind of broadening who might come to a festival that's about film, but there might be other ways into it. So I think it's about that. For me, I don't actually live, I live in Sussex, but obviously through working with Becky, or Rebecca, Rebecca's her professional name. But I know my sister's Becky, so I mess up sometimes on that. But it's really great for me as well to have connections in London, and just to feel like there's a hub. But I think it's just fantastic through the partnership with the Barbican to get to know about the different things that are happening in the forest, and it feels like a privilege to be on par with some of it work for a long time and to be questioning what film can be and how people might want that in their community. So I think it's the first time we're part of the festival, but it feels like it's not driven by like one head person who's been in the role for a long time and it's leading with their vision. It feels like there's many layers of kind of collaboration and discussion, which is something that we're both finding is much more important to us to be part of. So very excited about that.
So what specifically will you be contributing to Leytonstone Loves Film?
Well, we're actually doing 2 projects.
Okay.
So our first one is called Map Memories. And at the current stage when we're recording this, we're still in the kind of development stage where we're reaching out to the community and trying to find those stories. So it's actually the first time together that we've created a piece that isn't, I mean, as Katie said, we've done outreach and things like that, but we haven't created a body of work that isn't a film that you'd go and watch, online or in the cinema.
Okay.
So we're hoping to hear, or we have heard from some really amazing women, and we're hoping to hear from as many as possible from Waltham Forest who have a connection to Leytonstone. And that can be anything from, a specific memory, or it might be a place that they worked. And everyone has a story. And if you give them a voice, they've all got an important story to tell. And our work is very much in the kind of documentary field.
Yeah.
So we love talking to people and learning from people that have had so many different experiences in life. So we're hoping to hear from a whole range of people and talk to all these women and give their kind of story importance. And then we're going to pick 2 of them to work with collaboratively to create a poem about their memory or connection to Leytonstone. And then that will be used as a stimulus for Katie to create some choreography to, which they're going to then perform live in the festival. Pop up kind of at random places. So kind of like a flash mob of one person. And their poetry will also be voiced by themselves as well. So it's a chance to share stories of individuals within the community.
So a cross between sort of a social history document coupled with a snapshot of women's stories in the borough in Leighton now, kind of thing.
Exactly, yes. Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah, I like that description. And we're not sure where that's going to pop up yet, whether it'll be something that people will have as part of the programme, or whether it'll be more of a surprise element. And then additionally, we're working with Nuala, who we've mentioned earlier, from Women Over 50 Film Festival to create a movement exercise in between the screenings of her films. And I'm not sure what order the podcasts are going. So if we come before Nuala's work, then she basically creates amazing programs of films that either have a woman over 50 as a lead in the film or as a lead creative making the film. And so there's many values that we share, and we've done some, lucky enough to have our work screened at her festival, which is how we met. And then since we've done some collaboration, so we actually did a virtual sort of version of what we're going to do at Leytonstone Loves Film with ELOT, which is East London Art Project, where we did a screening and then a movement exercise and then some more films. And it seemed to work really well. So we're excited to see how it works in person. And I think it's important to say that we're going to make it so that anyone that wants to take part can. So whether you need to sit down, you need to stand up, that we can adapt and have that ready so that as many people as possible can take part.
Excellent.
And it's not about being an amazing dancer to contribute. It's just about a community coming together and enjoying movement and art and celebrating who we are. So it should be hopefully a nice experience for everyone. So
the point being is to feel included, not be a show off dancer.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, that means there's room for me then, at least.
Exactly.
Yes, come along.
Thinking outside of what you're doing specifically yourself, what aspects or specific event are you looking forward to most at Leytonstone Loves Film? And obviously, give an example each.
Well, I watched the trailer for Bad Genius, which I thought looked really great. I think they're doing a screening of it with some food, which I always love food, so that's a great combo for me. I'm there straight away. But I think the film just looks great. I think when I was at school, I would we both actually were quite very strict, hard revisers, never really break the rules in life. So I kind of like that it's very different to what I do. But it's also a true story that's been, I guess, put into, I think, I obviously haven't seen it, but like a creative retelling, which is kind of what we do with our work as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that's done, and hopefully meeting some people in a social environment. Looks great.
Yeah, and I think for me, I've from a young age, I've always loved storytelling. Initially in creative writing, and then film, and then now my big love is actually documentary, and approaching it in a creative way, but always having the human story at the heart of it. So I'm really interested in seeing the programme of documentaries made by local filmmakers, particularly young filmmakers, because especially in today, like, anyone can make a film on their phone, or take some pictures and edit it all together. So it would be great to see kind of the up and coming talent, and especially any films about the local community. Always enjoy a bit of that.
What is it about film that works so well as a shared experience?
I think it's we were talking about this earlier, weren't we? And I think film is, hopefully for most people, and not for everyone, something you get to experience from a really young age as a kind of easy way into learning about the world without necessarily having to, either go to a cinema or leave your own home. So I think it's a fantastic learning tool, which maybe we take for granted too much. But I think it's it depends on where you view it, because obviously the pandemic's massively changed that, as well as things like open source gaming and kind of interactive digital content. But I think there's something really nice about sitting in a dark cinema and being able to cry, and people not realising that, but maybe sensing, like having a sense in the room that people were going through the same kind of experience as you. But also, I think, it goes back to kind of my dissertation and research at uni again, but I think it's so interesting that there's that kind of world made that's a document of the film that's got all the experiences of the director and maybe the actors in it, and then each person brings their own relationship and experience to that. But I think artists have become much more creative about how we continue that dialogue, from not just watching the film and going home, but having space to digest that and see how people respond. So I think it's a super important thing to create conversation and to learn more about ourselves as well. I love it. Yeah,
I would agree. Really, it's no matter what the story, I think there's always a way you can relate as another human being. So I love the power to take you on a journey and completely forget about everything else. And like Kate said, you're watching it with other people, and we all bring our own experiences, but there's a level in which we can all relate to each other. And particularly in a community, it's nice to watch a film and spark kind of conversations. And, it's amazing what positive change as well can come out of watching film together. So it's a lovely, lovely experience, and I really missed it over lockdown. So very much looking forward to going to as many events as possible during Leytonstone Loves Film.
Now, I've done over 500 podcasts, and I think you're my first twins I've interviewed in that time. Certainly together, anyway. How does that function as a creative collaboration compared to, say, collaborations with other people that aren't your twin? Is there a difference that you notice when you work together compared to working with other people?
Definitely. I would say so, because we've grown up together so close. We've obviously been influenced by a lot of similar things and brought up to appreciate things in a similar way as well. So it's so lovely because we both got our own things going on. We work independently, but when we work together, we're driven in the same way. And, you can just talk to each other so honestly about how you're feeling about stuff. And we work in a very similar way. So I think it's a really fruitful relationship on that level. And it's fun as well. We do annoy each other at times, like I think any collaboration, but we always know that we're going to get through it and it will work towards something really positive. So I think it is different working together as twin sisters.
I think I'm sure that this can be established in any working relationship as well if you have the right conversations. But there's a real flexibility, I think, in our under KABECCA Films as to who's kind of going to direct and who's going to produce. And so we're quite interested in being able to flip those roles around depending on what we're working on next. So I think, I don't know if that's necessarily a twin thing, but like Becky said, there's a real honesty in that kind of approach. And for me as well, working, because I work freelance and run a couple of organisations with different structures, one with a team when we have funding, one I work completely on my own with, and then this one. And it's so nice just to be able to come to a meeting in your dressing gown if you want, like if you need to, because it's just like a different, like, you know, a different environment where we are professional, but you can also have those moments where you can, you know, meet in a less, you know, I don't know, business-like way, which is really nice.
And if people wanted to find out a little bit more about KABECCA Films, where can they find out about you?
Well, we're actually across social media under KABECCA Films. So that's probably the best way to follow us. We're trying to be more active on that at the moment, particularly since we've just finished our latest film. So we'll be coming up with a distribution plan for that. So we're excited to be sharing stills and things from that across social media. So yeah, KABECCA Films, which is actually a combination of our names, is how we came up with that title.
I'd worked it out.
Yeah, it took us ages. We came up with all these names and then thought, why don't we just combine the two? And I think it works quite well. So,
can you tell us what the latest film is?
It's it's part of the series about older women and their connection to dance. And we collaborated with an organisation called The Point, who are based in Eastleigh, and they run an older dance company. And we actually made a film in lockdown about all the women, but we wanted to make a more kind of cinematic film about one woman, one lady in particular. And they were all brilliant, but Gillian is our contributor, and she was very honest with her life story. And I think it was actually the first time she'd thought about her career and her dance journey and how it affects her even today. So it's a story about, she started as a ballerina from the age of 14. And I think we all know, as beautiful and lovely as it is as a dance, it's very competitive and you're judged on your body. And she always wanted to reach perfection. And then that kind of level kept going up and up and up and up and seemed unattainable for her. So it's kind of about the battle of loving something so much, but also the kind of anxiety that she experienced. And in the end, she actually, she moved away from dancing, but in later life has found a way to dance that she loves. So it's ultimately a celebration, but the kind of journey that got her to where she is now. And now she dances in her own way and she absolutely loves it. And it was such a rewarding experience. And she's amazing. Like she's never improvised before. And we did some improvisation on the shoot, you know, lots of cameras, lots of people. And she just gave it her all and, you know, throwing her leg up in the air. It was amazing. So yeah, we feel so privileged to be able to be given someone's life story and they hand it to us. And obviously we work with them, but we have kind of creative control. And I think she's really happy with what we've produced, but it's a brave thing for her to do, I think. But she's excited for us to get it out in the world too. So hopefully people like it.
Yeah.
Good luck with with getting that out there, and good luck with your contribution to Leytonstone Loves Film. And it just gives me to say thank you very much for giving your time on the Britflicks podcast.
Our pleasure.
Really enjoyable talking to you, and we look forward to hearing the other episodes you're making for the series.
You are listening to the Leytonstone Loves Film podcast series. Leytonstone Loves Film returns for a third year from the 15th to the 19th of September 2021. Across 4 days, Leytonstone in East London will be host to a variety of free events brought to you by local filmmakers and film organisations. Let's get back to the interviews. Who are you and who or what do you represent?
I'm Helen Taylor, and I represent Stories and Supper, which is based in Waltham Forest, and we've been around since 2017.
And what is Stories and Supper?
So we're an organisation that works with refugees, asylum seekers, and local residents, and we bring people together to challenge some of the negative narratives around migration.
Every day you're asked to give away personal information online, but you could be giving up some safety too. Now it's easy to help protect yourself. Norton 360 with LifeLock gives you device security, a VPN for Wi-Fi activity privacy, and identity theft protection. No one can prevent all identity theft, but you can opt in to cyber safety. Join this week. It's the flash sale. Save up to 45% off your first year at norton.com/news. Sale ends September 7th.
This Labor Day, put an end to junk sleep. Right now at Mattress Firm, save up to $500 on our top-rated brands when you get a king bed for the price of a queen or a queen for a twin. Plus, get a free adjustable base when you spend $6.99 on Sealy. Or save up to 50% on hot buys from top brands like Sleepy's or Serta. With our highly trained sleep experts and our low-price guarantee, you can rest assured you'll get the best bed at the best price. Unjunk your sleep, only at Mattress Firm. Offer valid with qualifying purchase. Restrictions apply. Valid at participating locations only. For offer details, visit mattressfirm.com/sale.
So we were formed in 2017 when there was a lot of kind of noise around in the media and in sort of political dialogue about the facts, that it was this refugee crisis, and there was kind of a lot of talk about Calais. And we just thought that there was actually, other stories that needed to be told, really, not just these stories that we were hearing, that we're still hearing in the media and in political discourses. So we tried to find creative ways to bring people together and challenge those narratives, and to make people who newly arrived here feel more welcome.
What an incredibly positive thing to do.
Thanks.
What does Leytonstone Loves Film mean to you?
Leytonstone Loves Film, we took part in the first one, and it's just it's a new way of us thinking about what we do, in a way, a new way for us to share narratives, because we've not, we weren't originally film-based. We're not kind of a film organisation. We normally share stories and we share food. But the first Leytonstone Loves Film, we were able to share a film that had been made about one of the refugees involved in Stories and Supper.
Got you.
And it was just great to tap into that kind of whole creativity and community event that was going on. And that's, something that we're looking forward to doing again, to actually kind of meet new people, to bring the stories that we share to a new audience, and to just be part of something that's kind of really a celebration of that kind of creativity and community sort of impulse in the borough, really.
Well, that's a lovely segue for me, Helen. What are you going to be contributing to Leytonstone Loves Film?
During lockdown, we normally meet on Saturday mornings at Gnome House, and we have workshops where we share stories, we do drama, poetry, we have fun. And during lockdown, we were really concerned that we didn't just kind of stop working, because the people that come to our sessions are, were already marginalised to a large extent before COVID. And obviously, the pandemic has affected them, quite severely. So we carried on meeting on Zoom all the way through on Saturday mornings. And a kind of sort of handy side effect of that was that we managed to record all our sessions on Zoom. So we recorded everything we were doing. And we made some videos while we were doing that. So we recorded a poem that we wrote as a group with Joelle Taylor, who's a local spoken word artist.
Yeah.
So we recorded our group poem called Together Apart, and made a film of that, which we released on YouTube. And we also recorded various other stories that we told together with Phosphorus Theatre, who were a theatre company made up of former unaccompanied asylum-seeking children.
Okay.
We did some work with them and recorded some videos, some stories about waiting. So the stories about waiting were about people waiting for the lockdown to end, but also waiting for their asylum claims to be sorted and for their kind of leave to remain to be granted. So we're going to be showing some of those films. And also, we recorded so much. We recorded cookery videos and everything else over lockdown. We got people to cook the recipes that they'd sort of produced in our book we made for Borough of Culture. So possibly we'll show some of the cookery videos as well. So yeah, we got a kind of whole body of work, and we just thought Leytonstone Loves Film is the perfect place to share some of that work that we wouldn't have produced probably if it hadn't been for lockdown. So it was kind of a happy side effect, really, of not a very nice pandemic.
Yeah. What a happy accident to come out of like your necessity then creates a future that other people can enjoy that wouldn't necessarily have been able to take part at all.
Yeah, because it wouldn't have been something we would have recorded otherwise. We'd have probably, done maybe written things or, had stories that we would have told at events. But because of the restrictions of COVID, we decided to record things and sort of have some output on YouTube that people could kind of still connect with us and hear some of those stories. And it was kind of quite a creative time, even though obviously very restrictive in lots of ways. It was interesting for us to go down some new avenues, and we were still able to collaborate, as I say, with people like Joelle Taylor and Jemana Moon, who's a local storyteller, and Phosphorus Theatre. So it was really good for us to still have that kind of those creative collaborations going on.
Any hints and tips about doing that kind of collaboration over a Zoom call? Because it's obviously you're not in person. So how do you help get people involved when it's ultimately one-to-one all the time, even though you can see one-to-many?
The artists that we collaborated with are people that we've collaborated with before. Mm-hmm. So we've worked with Phosphorus and Jemana and Moon and Joelle Taylor before. So those were pre-existing relationships.
Got you.
We just kind of continued. As far as our participants, the refugees and asylum seekers, and then our local volunteers who joined. For our refugee and asylum seeking participants, one of the main barriers was people's data. It's not everybody most people didn't have laptops. Lots of people couldn't afford the data. So we had to kind of subsidise people's data. People often joined on the phones rather than, they didn't have laptops. So, basically the only tips I've got is that we just had to be really flexible, and we had to not really care that much. Like our recordings, they're not kind of beautiful recordings. They're not kind of perfect recordings. People are a bit shaky on the screen, but in a way we kind of think that sort of captures what was happening around the time. So yeah, we were flexible about the kind of the quality of the technology and the recordings, and flexible about the needs of the people, our participants, people who are part of Stories and Supper, because it was more important to us that they kind of were able to connect and were able to kind of, be part of it.
Well, I think we've seen on national TV, international media companies doing Zoom interviews with people that ordinarily they would have done in person, and the audio's, terrible, but you get the thing you need. So it's in when it needs must, it's sort of it can be enough.
Yeah, and I think especially with our long poem Together Apart, the group poem we wrote, that was during the first lockdown, and there's lots of kind of sort of quite bad quality images and shaky audio, but I think it really summed up that kind of how that some of the words in the poem kind of really echo that kind of like how we were trying to kind of stay connected and stay together at that time. So it is quite poignant to kind of look back on that and think how everyone was feeling then.
And then, like you say, the happy accident of having made a record, it becomes something that becomes its own content going forward.
Yeah, and that really helped because we got Arts Council funding to produce a book of writing, and so a lot of the writing is stuff that we produced during those lockdown workshops that because we recorded them, I was then able to go and transcribe and kind of
amazing.
The poems and the stories, and then we've done more workshops since when we've been able to meet in person. So yeah, it was actually really good to think, okay, well, all that work we did is still there. We saved it all, so we can publish some of that.
Outside of the work you'll be doing at Leytonstone Loves Film, what aspect or specific event are you looking forward to yourself?
I know that we're part of a community showcase, so I'm looking forward to seeing the other things that are going to be part of that community showcase, because it's nice to sort of be able to sort of share our work with other organisations in the community. And by chance, my son was actually took part in one of those other sessions. So the work that's being done by Lisa Fletcher and her colleague, that my son at Leytonstone School took part in that. So that's great because it's actually going to be shown in the same.
He was at the thing that Esther did at the school.
Yeah, with Esther Nelson as well. Yeah, with the animation.
Ah, wow.
So he's taking part in that. So that's really nice because he's going to be part of the same community showcase as we are. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to discovering new things as well. I think, to be surprised by, I remember last Leytonstone Loves Film, after our thing was all done, kind of going up into another screen and just being able to sit down and have a drink and watch something. So I'm kind of looking forward also to being surprised by something I'm not necessarily aware, is what it's going to be just yet. So yeah, I think that'd be fun. And going, also just hanging out with my kids there as well, and sort of afterwards and seeing what they want to.
Fantastic. And just as a more general point, what do you think it is about film that can sometimes feel best when it's a shared experience?
I think there is something really magical about that, kind of thing of sitting down in a cinema or at a screen together, which is very different from this kind of watching a film on your phone or, the way that younger people do. Yes, they do. They do. I'm not doing that. But yeah, there's sort of, I think it is that kind of talking together about what you're experiencing and those kind of shared memories. I mean, I still remember going to watch films with my dad, and we didn't see films like this to the same extent that people do now. We weren't going to cinema every 5 minutes or watching films all the time. But I've got really strong memories of going to see Charlotte's Web with my dad and my brother, and I think those kind of shared experiences, they are kind of, bonding. They bond people, in their family, with your family members. They're bonding in the community, because it is that live experience and shared experience that we've all missed really over the past year or so, which I think is very different from a solitary kind of viewing experience. And it is kind of how those, I say, family memories or community memories or cultural memories are kind of established when you experience that kind of viewing together. The same as going to live theatre as well. It's being with other people and experiencing something together, I think is important.
And then finally, outside of the Leytonstone Loves Film, where can people find more information about what you're doing?
So we've got our website, storiesandsupper.co.uk, which has information on. We kind of often put stuff on Facebook as well. We'll be launching our new book before Christmas, so in the autumn, so people can watch out for events that we'll be doing. In the past, we used to do a lot of supper club events, which obviously we haven't been doing in the past 18 months, but hopefully we'll have a supper club before Christmas. We'll be sort of holding book launch events and other things, so people can look out for us and find us on Instagram and Twitter as well. So,
excellent. Well, look, that just gives me time to say thank you very much for joining us on the Britflicks podcast.
Thank you. It's been great.
You are listening to the Leytonstone Loves Film podcast series. Leytonstone Loves Film returns for a third year from the 15th to the 19th of September 2021. Across 4 days, Leytonstone in East London will be host to a variety of free events brought to you by local filmmakers and film organisations. Let's get back to the interviews. Who are you and who or what do you represent?
Hi there. Lovely to be here with you, Stuart. My name is PRISCILLA IGWE and I'm from the New Black Film Collective.
When did the New Black Film Collective begin?
Well, New Black Film Collective started about 10 or so years ago.
Yeah.
We were originally an initiative that was put together via Film London mostly. Mm-hmm. And it was in, how do I say it? It was not a reaction, it was, I can't think of the word, but it was in answer. Well, there's still an issue with Black exhibition in this country.
Okay.
But there was a consultation done, and in order to sort of counter that problem, there was a program called The New Black that was created and delivered. It was a cultural leadership program called The New Black, which is named after the New Negro, which was a Renaissance period that came together in America by certain prolific African Americans like Du Bois at the turn of the 20th century. If you Google the New Negro, you'll find out about the origins of the New Black, the name. Anyway, it was a year-long cultural leadership program, about 15 of us. And then afterwards, we looked at each other and said, we have to keep this network because it could be powerful. We need each other. There's not enough of us, doing Black film or festivals or programming. And so fast forward 10 years later, out of the 15, and maybe there's 2 or 3 originals left. But I've recruited I sort of took the helm, I volunteered, took the helm and recruited more people. And now we're around 45 of us spread across the country trying to, bring Black stories to screen.
What's been one of your favourite sort of films or filmmakers to bring to screen?
Oh, there's been so many, and from different parts of the world.
Yeah.
Who I can remember in the moment, So who's exciting me right now? Probably Michaela Cole. I think she's exciting me. She's really kicked the doors down. I know she's more TV, but, we can imagine what things are in the pipeline for her, film-wise, and the fact that she's writing and the fact that she's bringing people with her, through her association, through the casting. And it's exciting times for Black British stories, thanks to Michaela Cole.
No, for sure. What does Leytonstone Love Film mean to you?
Straight off the bat, it means community. And I think, at this stage of my sort of career in film, whether that be, bringing films to audiences or trying to make films myself, I just want it to be people-led, and I just want to please people. So, I think Leytonstone Loves Films does that. I think that's at the heart of what it's about. So, I really resonate with the program, with the event, with its purpose.
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying to you before we started, you're the 28th interview I've done with partners at the Leytonstone Loves Film, and I'm not sure many film festivals at this sort of scale could boast so many different people contributing to what will be the content of the festival.
Exactly, and this will be my first year, and I really feel honoured to have been invited on. So I'm quite excited. I just feel like this is back to my roots. This is what I'm about, and it's nice doing events, in places like BFI South Bank or Barbican or whatnot, around the country, different art houses or even multiplexes. But to be in the community spaces, to really, I feel, know your audience. Sometimes you can actually know them by name when you do screenings. It just feels familiar. It feels like you're presenting something to your extended family, and it really warms my cockles, as it were.
Indeed. Now, I know you've not got the title yet for what you're going to be showing, but do you want to talk about what you're looking to be contributing towards Leytonstone Loves Film?
Yes, well, I feel it's going to be topical. Mm-hmm. It's a programme that I've curated already for Newham Council, and the Borough of Newham, and that's Black Films Matter. And of course, it's the delight of George Floyd, but it's weird saying that because this has been a situation that's been going on forever. And I don't understand why George Floyd sparked this reaction in this country when it's from the US, when we have Mark Duggan and we have so many others have gone through terrible, terrible experiences at the hands of racist institutions. And I have personal experience seeing things happen to my family in this country. So, Black films matter. Black films matter because Black lives matter. And not to get too political right now, I feel film is a very, very useful vehicle to talk and discuss certain things. And it's just a light touch way to educate people and hopefully open their eyes and get the discussion, get the dialogue open up dialogue. So Black films matter. I was
going to say, but I think film is always political in a way. It doesn't matter whether it's overt or covert. It always represents some form of politics, doesn't it?
Yes, whether it be gender politics, racial politics, social justice, or anything like that. I mean, we look at Ken Loach, but people say he delves into poverty porn, and I mean, certain films right now, I think Black audiences are being fatigued by trauma porn. So I was a bit, I didn't really, I'm in two minds, thinking about, do I want to continue to project films around Black trauma, or do I want to turn to Black joy and celebrate, be normal, instead of being extreme stereotypes, whether it's gangster films, just slavery films where we've been lynched or where we're hanged or we're mutilated in some way, or we're the victims. It's nothing worse than continually being the victim, because you just start to believe in it and believe you're less than. So that's what we're trying to do. We want to correct that. We want to rebalance that. We want to revise history through films made by people who actually own their stories. So yeah, that's the mission.
What aspect of Leytonstone Loves Film are you looking forward to? Being your first one to contribute to.
Well, I'm looking forward to different ways the other partners are going to enhance their screenings. And I love that. I love, when people really enjoy creating enhancing whatever they're showing through different platforms or in a cross art sort of way, bringing different arts to people that maybe that have a chance to experience that art form, whether it's visual arts, whether it's dance, whether it's music. And yeah, it's just opening doors. I'm going to enjoy seeing how the other partners open different doors for people, for audiences. That's going to be fun.
And whereabouts will you be exhibiting your film?
I believe I'm going to be at Leytonstone Library.
Oh, fantastic.
That'd be nice. And I'm going to see if I can enhance my screening with a performance, maybe live poetry, spoken word or something, and have a panel afterwards. So yeah, just give real value to the night, hopefully.
So I guess the message is watch this space then.
Most definitely. Let's see what I can cook in my kitchen.
Now you've been exhibiting films, like you said, in all over the place. Big places like the South Bank and like what you're going to do here with the library and stuff. But what is it for you as someone who programs and curates these kinds of experiences that what does film do that works so well as a shared experience with other people?
Well, it can be a cultural thing. And it tends to be with Black audiences and brown audiences as well. I say that to refer to South Asian communities. But for people from African descent, African diaspora, we tend to like to talk back to the screen. We tend to like to have a conversation, and we live in a reserved society. And I like that part of the British culture, be quiet and still. And I tend to go to the cinema by myself because I don't want to be disturbed, no eating, no nothing, watch the film and be absorbed. But if I'm watching it in a community setting, then I enjoy people shouting out and people bursting into laughter and, just getting that inside joke. So that's lovely. I remember when I showed Girls Trip, oh my words, it was a riot. It was an absolute riot. And it just felt like it was mostly women, the audience tends to be 75% Black women. And it just felt like we were just set free for that night. We've got to be raucous. We've got to be, loud and just, express ourselves and just laugh. And we got to see things through our gaze, female gaze. And if you don't know, the film stars, Jada Pinkett, Queen Latifah, and a couple of other ladies, the names have slipped my mind. But it's a brilliant, brilliant comedy. And, for once we're in charge. And it's just, you can't beat that. Because, you're used to the male sort of type version of it, like The Hangover and stuff like that. But it was a more of a, our road trip or our hangover, and it was awesome. It was freeing. It was liberating.
How can people find New Black Film Collective outside of Leytonstone Loves Film if they're looking for you?
Yes. And most of our socials, we're at TNBFC, or just search for the New Black Film Collective, or the website is www.tnbfc.co.uk.
Are you looking for Black filmmakers, or are you hoping Black filmmakers come to you as much as anything else?
Definitely, yeah, because I've got fingers in different pies. I can, put films in certain festivals, do premieres and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a interrupted filmmaker myself.
Okay.
But until I'm able to make films again, I want to build audiences. I want to make clear the route to markets. I want people to know that certain films are out, especially in the regions. So, please, if you have a film that you think that would appeal to a Black audience, but, I do cater for audiences of all backgrounds as well. But it has to be somebody's priority, doesn't it? So it's mine.
Yeah, no. But I think what you're saying. So what you're saying is, if you're a Black filmmaker and not sure how you might get your film to an audience, then you're a good place to come to have that conversation.
I think so. I can, hopefully, I like to think of myself as a broker sometimes.
Yeah.
And introduce people to things. If I'm not able to help you directly, then I might know a person who can.
Malcolm Gladwell called them mavens, didn't he? The people that connect people with people.
Awesome. Yeah, that works.
It just gives me to say thank you very much for giving your time on the Britflicks podcast.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and keep doing what you do, Stuart. It's fantastic and it's so needed.
That's it for this episode of Leytonstone Loves Film 2021 podcast series. If you've got time, please remember to rate, review and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you for listening. Leytonstone Loves Film is produced by the Barbican in partnership with local residents and organisations and is commissioned by the London Borough of Waltham Forest, supported by Arts Council England.
At Simple Mobile, you get the no contract advantage. Those other mobile companies make you think you're in control, but you're really not. They lure you in with shiny new phones and then lock you into long-term agreements. But Simple Mobile is different. You can get a 30-day plan starting at $25. You can also get the latest smartphones, or if you have a compatible phone you love, you can bring it. Just text BYOP to 611611 to see if your phone is compatible. It's the reliability you need when you need it. All on a powerful nationwide 5G network. With no mystery fees, no activation fees, and no contract ever. All for less money and no contract ever. 5G capable device and SIM required. Actual availability and coverage and speed may vary. 5G network not available in all areas. 5G upload speed not yet available. Message and data rates may apply. Visit simplemobile.com/privacy policy for privacy policy. Service plan required for activation. Terms at simplemobile.com.